Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to the College Placement Workshop from 10x International School. At 10x, we believe education must go beyond classrooms. It's about creating pathways for our students to the world's top global and Indian universities. With our accelerated curriculum, innovation driven programs, and personalized guidance, we have consistently ensured that students are equipped not just for admissions, but for long term success. Placements are not just about the where, but about the how as well. That's why today's workshop is designed to give you clarity on how we nurture individual student profiles from grade 9, build academic and co curricular depth, and prepare students for global opportunities and scholarships. Before we would begin, I would encourage you all to just scan the QR code here or use the link and the code so that you can participate and engage with us during this workshop. This will allow you to engage with polls, interactive questions, add comments, and even post questions later in the presentation, making it more enriching and participatory. Yeah. And now to lead today's session, we are privileged to have Ms. Aparna Chandrashekaran, Head of College Placements at 10x International School. Ms. Aparna brings a wealth of experience to this role, having spent 8 years as an advisor with the United States India Educational Foundation at the Chennai Consulate, as well as with Education USA, where she guided countless students on placements to top global universities. She also has an experience with Deloitte, where she managed enabling areas, giving her unique insights into career pathways and employability. Her combination of international advising expertise and practical placement strategy makes her the ideal person to walk us through how 10x builds successful student journeys from our classrooms to the world's best universities. With that, it's my pleasure to hand over to Ms. Aparna.
Thank you, Praveen. If we could move to the next slide. We'll quickly take you through a little bit of our student achievements. We are a new school, as you may be familiar with. We began our classes for 10x started in 2022 when the school started. And between now and our first cohort, which graduated this year, we've got some good admissions for universities, both in India and abroad. And we'll take you through that journey a little bit. And then at the end of a couple of slides, we'll also talk about what universities are really looking for and how you need to sort of prepare your children. Okay, we have some parents whose children are in grade 6 as well. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Next slide, Praveen. Yeah, so just to give you a little glimpse of where our students have gone, I mean, our first cohort of students which graduated were about 14 students, and we submitted about 90 applications to various countries, different countries, out of which 58 offers were received by our students, and 6 different countries they've received admissions in, including India. I think what we are very proud of is that we've received over $2 million in scholarship for our students, and all 14 of them have been placed at universities. The next slide, please. So before we move to telling you what majors our students are pursuing and which countries they've gone to, we'd really like to also ask you what are some important factors for you when you're choosing a high school. This also gives us an understanding of what parents' expectations are. So if you can go on to menti.com, if you could use the code 31763930, and it'll allow you to sort of input your ideas and your thoughts and exposure and fees. Okay. We'd love for all the parents on the call to do this, please, so we also get an understanding of what you as parents are expecting from a high school. Opportunities, okay. An enabled learning platform, all right. If other parents could also share, it would be valuable for us. Affordable education, okay. Effectiveness and fees, a good university opportunity. Okay. All right, I think we'll stop with that because it does give us an idea of what parents' expectations are. And on the front of college placements, like I said, we have, even though we're a very new school with just 2 years or 3 years now under the belt, we have been able to achieve some good results for our students. About 28% of our students, if you take, have gone to USA. We've got admissions from UK, India, Netherlands, New Zealand, UAE, as well as medical college in the Caribbean as well for one of our students. Over to the next slide, please, Praveen. Yeah, and if you see some of the majors that majors essentially means the subject concentration that students have selected for pursuant of their higher education. So we have a student who's studying mathematics, one who's studying material science, electrical engineering, computer science. We have 2 students, mechanical engineering with aerospace specialization. We have 1 student, business management, economics, international relations, and medicine and mathematics, of course. So these are some of the subjects that our first batch of students are studying at the universities that they have received admissions to. If you could go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so I'm a little curious to understand what subject concentrations, at least for the older children, if they have some idea. If some of you have mentioned you have children in 9th or 10th grade. I understand that at 6th grade, a child was probably not going to know exactly what they want to study, probably not even in 9th and 10th for many students. But have they indicated, if any of your children indicated what subjects they would like to study at university, or which country they might like to study? How do you comment? Okay, so Mr. Rajendra, you go to this on this slide you see on the top, a website is mentioned called menti.com. You just go onto that website and it'll ask you to input a code, and you can put that code 31763930 and you should be able to comment. Okay, so you have students looking at international relations, English literature, medicine, AI and machine learning. Okay. International politics. Okay. It's really nice to see a mix of STEM courses as well as humanities and social sciences. And I'm happy that, parents these days are more open-minded as are children to exploring subjects beyond the typical medicine and engineering. So I'm happy to see that. Political science. Okay. Clinical research, very interesting. Economics, political science. All right. Thank you. That's a good snapshot of what your children are really looking for. So just to give you an idea of where some of the universities where our students received admissions from, this is just a small snapshot. We received many more admissions. Like I said, we received 58 university offers for our students. University of California, Berkeley, Purdue, University of St. Andrews, Flame University in India, BITS Pilani's Dubai campus, Georgia Tech in the US, University of Massachusetts at Amherst, the University of Edinburgh, then Alliance University here in Bangalore, Massey University in New Zealand, New York University in the US, UC San Diego again in the US, King's College London, University of Groningen in Netherlands, and the American University of Antigua in Caribbean, which is where our student who's pursuing medicine at the moment, he is studying at this university, American University of Antigua. So this just gives you an idea of, despite being a new school, just the first cohort, how much our students have been able to, how successful they have been in getting into some of the top colleges in United States, UK, Netherlands, India, as well, and of course the UAE, New Zealand, and of course the Caribbean as well. These are just, like I said, a snapshot of the universities our students have gotten to, but hopefully the coming batches of our students will also be able to expand our footprint in terms of the number of other countries they apply to and admissions offers they get to. The next slide, please, Praveen. Yeah, so I'd really now like to capture and understand which country are you looking at overseas? Are you looking at India for your awards? If you could again go back to menti.com and share your inputs. Okay, USA, India. Okay, It's actually a great option now. India has so many wonderful universities. So there are many, many wonderful options in India now. Okay, mostly US and India. Okay, UK. All right. Okay, so I'm happy to see that the overwhelming favorite is India. And there are really, really wonderful options which I will share in a couple of slides later when we talk about it. But happy to hear that there are parents looking abroad as well as those looking at India as well. Here is just a snapshot of our the code is on the screen, Mr. Arush. If you go to menti.com and you just use the code 31763930, which is on the screen, and it'll allow you to input your thoughts when we ask you the next question. So like I mentioned in that first slide, over $2 million in scholarships is what we've received. Our students have received in this first cohort itself. And our topmost scholarship winner was Pranav Morissetti, who's going to New York University for computer science. But overall, from all his admissions offers, he's got $526,000. Next was Pratosh, who actually came to us from an IISc school. He joined us in 11th and 12th, and he's joined Rochester Institute of Technology again for computer science. He's got $458,000 overall in scholarship from all his admissions offers. In fact, in his case, I would say that he's also received he's been admitted to the honors program, which is excuse me. Please excuse me, I haven't been well, and really sorry about that. So Pratosh is also admitted to the honors program at Rochester Institute of Technology, which is essentially a select number of students are taken into a cohort. And they get to take more advanced level courses. They're mentored by professors directly. They get to do a lot of research at the undergraduate program. So So Pratosh has also got into the honors program, like I mentioned. Jay Rishik has joined Syracuse University, and he has received $316,000 overall in scholarship. Now, as per that question that was posted in the chat, I can't remember the name of the person. Let me just check. Yeah, Vishruti, it's like in the case of Pranav, this is the overall scholarship he got from all his university offers. However, at New York University alone, he's received a complete 100% tuition waiver, which is $79,500 is what he's received, which means he only has to pay for his living expenses and for his travel to and fro from India to the US and for his health insurance. That's all he has to cover. His entire tuition fee is covered. In the case of Pratosh also at Rochester Institute of Technology, his out-of-pocket expense is only going to be $10,000 because he's also got not only a merit scholarship, he's also got a need-based grant, and he's also a US citizen, so he's got the federal aid as well. So in effect, he'll only pay probably $10,000 all-inclusive per year. Jay Rishik has just got about a 50% tuition scholarship at Syracuse alone, but overall from all his university offers, he's got about $316,000 as scholarship. Pranav and Pratosh are going for computer science. Jay Rishik is going for economics. Yeah. The next slide, please. All right, so let me understand how much are parents looking for scholarships? How important is that going to be in your choice of applying to universities? All right, so it seems to be a very strong factor for most parents. It's very important for most of you. Okay. So definitely, when you compare opportunities for either merit scholarship or need-based financial aid, US definitely stands out in comparison to any other country in the world. They have both merit scholarships as well as need-based financial aid. Countries like UK do give, but very minimal scholarships they give. Europe also, it depends on the country that you're applying for. Of course, Europe, if you're applying to Germany or Netherlands, the overall cost of attendance is much lower than, say, a UK or a US. So therefore, it definitely makes it more affordable, perhaps, than UK or US. Singapore has, of course, the government subsidized subsidy scholarship if the public universities in Singapore offer that, but then the student is expected to sign a bond to work in Singapore for 3 years. Australia and New Zealand also give, anywhere from 20% of the tuition scholarship to full tuition, depending on the profile of the student and their academic ability and so on. Irrespective of whether you're applying for merit or need-based financial aid, whichever country you're applying to, most of them will, the academic performance of a high school student is what is going to be taken into consideration to a large extent to decide whether a student gets a scholarship or not. So end of the day, academics really counts. As far as India is concerned, of course, there are, if you're going to public universities like NITs, IITs, IIITs, there the cost of attendance is much lower than at a private university. But private universities also in India now are offering scholarships. There are also now foreign universities which have opened campuses in India. And so that again is another opportunity for students to explore an international education while based in India itself. So we'll talk about that a little later. Next slide, please. Yeah. Over the past 3 years that we've been functional, many of our students have been able to do some internship. Not all of them, for sure, because it's very tough to get internships for high school students in organizations where, most companies are very hesitant to take students below 18 years of age. But in some cases, like with Titan or Morgan Stanley or IISc, where myself and many of our faculty had contacts, Plato, for example, Revac, Exide, Farmint, Galamad, these were all, internships that myself and some of the faculty were able to help with. The last three, of course, are organizations that are providing internships to high school students. They have year-round programs for internships. So if a child is not sure if a particular field of study is something that they really, want to get into, or if they want to just explore a little bit more about that field of study, then doing internships with organizations like Yuva or InterVarsity or Supros are some options that they can, pursue. Next slide, please. What we are really proud of is the Indian Institute of Science internships that our students got, and that was between me and another chemistry faculty. We had some contacts and we were able to leverage those contacts to give our students at least anywhere between 4 weeks to 6 weeks. Students were able to intern with the faculty at Indian Institute of Science. We are also fortunate that even though we've been running for a very short period of time as a school, our students have been able to get admission to some really, really good summer programs, both in India and abroad as well. Like Plaksha University's Young Data Scholars and Young Technology Scholars is a very, very good summer program. So is the Ashoka University's Young Scholars, as well as the Online Horizon program is a great summer program. Our student who's now at Syracuse, Jay Rishik, was selected by UC Berkeley for the Business Academy summer program at Haas School of Business. We had our student who got into Harvard's pre-college summer program. Avni, our current grade 12 student, went for the Brown University's Leadership Summit Institute. Yajat, our current grade 11 student, was the only Indian student to be selected to the International Astronomical Youth Camp. Some of these do offer scholarships, some of them don't, so the parents will probably have to pay if they want to send them to the summer programs, but some of them do have scholarships, but it depends on the summer program that you're really looking at. In fact, we're missing a few more here, like a student of ours got into the Canada-USA Math Camp. We also have 3 plus 2, 5 students who've got into the PACT summer program, which is the program in algorithmic and combinatorial thinking. That was an online summer program, but really a very, very impactful summer program for students who are looking at, in the future at careers in STEM, particularly if they're looking at careers in that field. So these are just some opportunities that our students were able to, get selected to. Next one, please. Yes, we are very proud that from, again, like I keep saying, a very young school, but our students were selected for this very prestigious fellowship called Lodha Genius Fellowship, which is a fully funded fellowship offered by a partnership between Lodha Foundation and the Ashoka University. And it's a multi-year program where even though they go for a 1-month summer program at Ashoka University, but the learning continues even after they come back after that 1 month. So they are mentored by professors at Ashoka and other universities. In fact, both Bharat and Avyan is currently in grade 10 and Bharat is now in grade 12. And Avyan and Bharat, even now, in fact, Avyan has been selected by by the simple virtue of attending this fellowship, he's been selected to, participate in a European mathematics competition for which Ashoka University itself is giving him and another bunch of small younger students the training to participate in a European mathematics competition. This fellowship is, like I said, fully paid, and the students got opportunity to interact with Nobel laureates and professors from other universities from around the world who were invited to be faculty in this fellowship program, which is organized in the summer. And Lodha, if you make it to the Lodha Genius Fellowship, the Lodha Foundation also supports these students when they get into universities, they get admission to universities. The I'm sorry. The Lodha Foundation also supports these students with some form of scholarship for their admission to universities. So that again is another benefit of being selected for this fellowship. So we're very happy that 2 of our students got selected this year, and hopefully many more next year in the years to come. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is something I'm really keen to understand. How many of your children are, sort of research minded, or would they prefer to work for an organization? Would really be curious, or if they have other interests that you'd like to talk about. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. See, research is a part of course, we do encourage our students to take up research projects, either, whether it is in a participation in a competition or a challenge or a science fair kind of activity, or even directly working on a research paper or proposal itself for publication in a journal, for example, in a student research journal. Currently, of course, I've identified organizations that provide mentorship to our students. And those were, of course, I must admit, those are paid opportunities, but we are hoping that in the future we'll be able to do this in campus as well, where our own teachers are able to mentor students for interest in academic research. Next one, please. Yeah, as I think Praveen would have mentioned to you already, and you might, if you have been through our website and seen our mission and vision statement, it is our endeavor to make our students future and life ready. And one aspect, and of course our life entrepreneurship curriculum, which is very unique to the 10X International School, is we have multiple verticals. One, of course, is helping students figure out their higher purpose, and one is innovation and entrepreneurship, and then leadership. Now, under innovations, through the life entrepreneurship class or through various competitions, we recommend them to take part in. Students come up with project ideas, which they then take it to the, it's not just an idea on paper, but they try and see if they can build a prototype or if they can patent the idea and so on. So on screen, what you see is just a small snapshot of some of our students' project ideas, which are right now they've either won a competition because of that project idea, or they've gone ahead and worked on submitting a patenting application, or in fact the portable chula is already in a prototype. They're in a semi-prototype stage right now. They're getting some mentoring. They are hoping to also patent their idea. They've planning to submit an application soon. The Period Bear app, in fact the app itself is ready now, and it's going to be tested with a lot of young students. The Winnower patent has already been filed. We're waiting for some feedback now on that. And the other 3 projects, they've moved from the ideation stage to the preparing a working prototype stage right now. The children are working on these projects right now. The next one, please. We've also had students who've participated in many competitions and challenges globally. Some of these we've just mentioned here, but there are many more, from Conrad Challenge to the Diamond Challenge, which is an entrepreneurship competition, to, students have taken part. Okay, someone else is trying to join in. Yeah. We've got Yizu. In fact, he's one of the students here in the picture. He was selected for the Asia Pacific Linguistic Olympiad. He also did well in the Panini Linguistic Olympiad. We have students who've written the IOQM, the first stage of the Math Olympiad this year. So we have students who've done many competitions, SASMO, WANDA, you name it. I mean, AMO, American AMC, AMO, many of the kids have participated in all of these over the past 3 years, and they've been doing well in those as well. Next slide, please. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd like to hear from you what you think would be a great opportunity to help your child in their future success. Okay, nice. It's actually all three. Yeah, all three would be important. But it doesn't mean that everybody has to do all three. What would be important is that you play to us, each child plays to their own strength, identifies what their passion and interests are, and then if they can develop that over a period of their high school, then it shows dedication, passion, it shows involvement and sustained interest and growth in their learning. So that is what really universities are really looking for. So definitely all three are important. Yeah. Next one, please. This, I think I'll ask Praveen to share a little bit about what we're doing with blockchain.
So we have a blockchain platform, which has basically helped students build their profile in blockchain. As you would know that the AI upcoming revolution of AI helps people to fake their profiles. And in the future, we expect things to be very difficult for recruiters as well as universities to get credible portfolios of students or profiles of students. So we understand the need for the future, and we have developed in-house a blockchain platform for students to upload their certificates and get it approved by our teachers or our academic team. And this helps them to maintain a credible portfolio which can be shared with universities around the world or in future with recruiters if they are planning to go for jobs. We think blockchain could be blockchain, as you would know, if at all you're associated with blockchain, that it's immutable. It can't be deleted once it is approved. It can't be deleted even by the person who's uploaded it. So in that sense, it is a credible portfolio, and it will help parents or students apply for different whether it's universities or jobs or so on and so forth. This is the interface. One second. This is the interface of our blockchain platform, where students upload their certificates, whether it's academic or non-academic, at different levels. So they select various different options so that we know that this is the certificate associated to this particular event or this particular level, so that the teachers or faculty can approve of it. And this helps students. This is all about future-proofing students' portfolios. If you could tell us, how would you feel about your child's academic and innovation portfolio being secure in blockchain? Is that something that you feel is necessary? You're not sure about it, or you don't think it's necessary at all? Okay. So there is one parent who was saying it's not necessary, but three of them are saying that it's necessary. Thank you. That's quite the insight we would like to have.
Actually, if many of you might be familiar with the DigiLocker system that the government of India has put in place, it's also very similar because they want all documents to be stored in a place where it cannot be tampered with, and students can directly share their DigiLocker ID with universities, who can then directly get access to the accurate transcripts of students. So that's something that even in India, the government of India has in fact started something like this. We are perhaps much way ahead of many foreign countries, because I remember when we were starting the blockchain project in our school, I had written to the admissions director at MIT and Stanford, and they were quite surprised that a high school in India is thinking about something like this when they themselves, they're offering the transcript, only the final transcripts in blockchain, but not all the students' achievements or credentials, etc., which is something that we are doing right now. So as far as I know, even there are a couple of community colleges in the US which offer the final transcripts of the student are put on a blockchain account and given to the student. But other than that, nobody elsewhere is in UK and all are far, far behind. They're not even thinking about it. And here is a high school which is thinking far ahead and way ahead, and thinking about protecting their students' achievements and credentials, so that at some point in the future, when other organizations catch up, our students will have their portfolio and their transcripts and credentials in place to share with universities or even future employers, for example. That's something that might be possible. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so the idea is at 10x is for me to be able to speak to all students as often as possible. Of course, the emphasis will be on largely to help with grade 11 and 12 because they have just 2 years left or 1 year left when they are in grade 11 and 12. But I also take meetings with students from grade 9, individual meetings with students from grade 9 and 10. And we try and give them feedback, give them resources of what they could do in terms of whether it's an essay competition or a challenge they can participate in, what kind of activities they could do that will sort of enable them to craft a personal narrative for themselves, a story that they can share with the university when they are applying. When, of course, they come to grade 12, we talk about, university shortlisting. We talk about how to identify the reach, match, or safety universities. I also help them with understanding what the essay requirements are for different applications and how they prepare for alumni interviews or faculty interviews if the university requires that. We try and connect some of our, now we have, being a new school, we have a very small group of alumni, but we're doing our best to connect these few alumni with our current students. We also organize sessions with faculty from university and industry experts to, and I do reach out to students from other high schools who've got into top universities. We've had students who've been admitted to Dartmouth, to Stanford, to Harvard University, to UC Berkeley, Cornell. I've had students from these universities. They're not our alumni, but they're students from different schools who already completed their degree or studying their degree in these colleges or universities. And I've requested them to do a session for my students just because I want our students to understand what it takes to get into some of these very selective and competitive universities. For grade 12 students, yes, we do workshops for parents to help them familiarize themselves with the application process, and individual interaction with parents also. I do take appointments with parents as well as with students, and try and be very active in the journey, in their placement journey. Yeah. Next one, please. Yeah. So let's have some inputs from you on what it really interests you when it comes to selecting a university or a college for your child. Would it be the brand name of a university, or would it be the scholarship value? Would it be the program fit? Would it be safety and culture abroad, or would it be internship and job opportunities? Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think it's very prudent that everybody is talking. I mean, the number one point on our poll is internships and job opportunities, because those are challenging in these times. Definitely in countries like US, there is a lot of challenge right now, but so is it in countries even like in the UK, for example, or in Canada, there are challenges for that. Subject and program fit, absolutely. I would say that would be the best. That should be the most important thing for students as well as for parents, because there's one thing about going into a good brand name university for a major that you're not totally interested in. Even if you go to a mid-rung university but are pursuing a subject that you really, really are keen on and you have great interest in, the child is definitely going to be more successful there. So I think subject and program fit is absolutely right choice. Next slide. Right. So we, as Praveen mentioned in the beginning as well, we do have, we're not a very straightforward, straight-jacketed kind of school. We offer a lot of opportunities to our students, and accelerated curriculum, of course, is one of them. Our students have already received admission to good universities in the US, UK, India, and other countries as well. We do have this, I think if you had attended our previous workshop that was conducted by our chemistry faculty, Ms. Dr. Pritesh, you would have understood how the STEAM curriculum is enabled in 10X. And of course, our life entrepreneurship curriculum is perhaps something very unique to our high school, and where we focus on the verticals of entrepreneurship and innovation, leadership, higher purpose, and social equity. So these are perhaps a few things that make us stand out in comparison to other high schools. Yeah, next slide, please. So, all of us as parents or even as school teachers or counselors, school counselors or head of schools, we're always thinking about sending our student to the best universities in the world. But let's look at it from the university's point of view. What kind of students are they looking for to join their university campus? So universities have multiple priorities. Some universities will have, diversity as a priority, which means they want students from different countries and different backgrounds to be part of their academic cohort. For some universities, like in the US, especially some of these Ivy Leagues that you would have heard of, for them, it's important that they also consider legacy. So if they have had students whose parents or grandparents studied at their university, then they do give some percentage of admission to students who are children who are related to those alumni of their current students or their past alumni. There are universities that will look at also financial priorities, like how much can they give out in scholarship or financial aid. If that quantum of amount that they have available is limited, then they are going to look for students who are full paying students, meaning who will pay the full fee. Then again, there will be domestic priorities in certain countries. For example, if you would have seen now the number of countries like Australia or Canada or perhaps soon even in Netherlands, there is a big focus on increasing the cost of visa fees in these countries because they want to limit the kind of students that are coming into their country. US is also considering increasing and adding an additional visa fee of $250. It's called the visa integrity fee. They're considering adding that now, in addition to paying the visa fee and the service fee which you pay when you apply for a US visa. Even countries like Netherlands, for example, are mentioning now that they used to have a lot of English taught programs, and they are now hoping to reduce the number of English taught programs. They want them to be more in the Dutch language. Because over the past few years, there's a right-wing government in power in Netherlands, and therefore their priorities are changing for how they perceive higher education in their country. So different countries governments will have different priorities, and universities will also have different priorities. So always put yourself in their shoes and see what are they looking for. But in terms of admissions, if you were to ask me what is it that universities are looking for, the first and foremost is grades, academics. That's the first thing. You must have heard that, it's all about profile building for US admissions or UK admissions and so on. But the fact remains that without the academic strength, the profile building doesn't matter. With the first pointer for which your application is even shortlisted for a review by the admissions committee is because you make the academic cut. So grades matter, and in US in particular, it is important that you do well from 9th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th grade till the half yearly. The results and the predicted grades are considered for admission. For UK, typically it will be the 10th grade and the 12th predicted grades. Other countries, it varies. Some of them typically will look at 10th and 11th. Some will look at 10th and the 12th predicted grade. So it really varies. Now, what is important is universities want to see that the student has challenged themselves in high school. So you have, even if your school says you need to take only 5 subjects or 6 subjects or 8 subjects, depending on what curriculum you're following, if you have pushed yourself to take additional classes or courses, either in school or outside of school, then universities appreciate that. Of course, for US, and typically the standardized test scores are now important again because most of the top universities are reinstating them, except like University of California system doesn't need it, but other top universities in the US do need it, including public universities and private universities need it now. It's also important for the student to showcase co-curricular activities which demonstrate their love for learning for that particular subject in which they want to sort of major. US in particular really likes to see students who are committed to doing community service, and they want to see sustained and deep engagement over the 4 years of high school, not something that the student has just done to tick a box. So US is very particular about that. Leadership roles, innovation, and all of these, if you see, whether it's commitment to service, leadership roles, innovation projects, or entrepreneurial abilities, and sustained passions across 4 years of high school are becoming important even for universities in India. Most of the private universities in India now, whether it be Kriya, whether it be Ashoka, Plaksha, all of these universities are also looking at these, added elements in the students' application when they are considering them for admission. Reading is something that I would ask you to encourage your children, because most US universities in particular, even UK for example, will want to know what you have done, how much of reading you've done in the area. In the US in particularly, it can be broad-based as well as subject-specific reading. UK, it is very subject-specific. Have you done any reading in your subject area of books which are outside of your high school curriculum? They want to see whether you're reading research journals, whether you're reading papers, whether you're reading other books that have been written on your subject area. So they're very curious to know that, and that's part of in fact, the essay format in the UK admissions. They expect your students to write about that. Communication skills are always going to be essential, and of course all of these skills of the future, whether it's innovation, teamwork, whether it is critical thinking, whether it's problem solving, I mean, these are all skills that many of you parents might be familiar with, because you might have even read the World Economic Forum's skills of the future report, and these are skills that they're not just looking for people who come into a job. Their universities are now looking for these kind of skills in high school students. And how do you demonstrate these skills? These are through innovation challenges or projects or research work that the student does. These are ways that the student can demonstrate their ability in these skills. I'll just show you a few. I'm just taking a few US examples because US universities share a lot of such information on their web pages. For example, at Harvard, its academics is important. The first thing is academics, like I mentioned. But in addition to it, they want to see community involvement, leadership, distinction in extracurriculars, personal qualities such as integrity, maturity, character, strength of character, and concern for others. So this is at Harvard. Harvard really, really appreciates students who do a lot of work for community. Princeton is very research focused, and academics is the first thing, of course. Like they say, most Princeton students were academic standouts in high school, but they also invested their energy and talents in significant ways outside the classroom. Brown is a very interesting university because it's one of the only Ivy Leagues which allows a student to create their own major. You can apply as an undecided student, or you can apply as somebody who will join the university and then design their own subject major. They, of course, university offers multiple majors, hundreds of majors, but Brown allows a student to craft their own subjects of study as well if they want. And they will assign a professor to be an academic advisor who will help the student with designing this own major that they want to study at the university. So Brown, again, it's about not just accomplishments in high school, but also in terms of, given the resources and opportunities that you had at high school, how did you explore, your potential? So that's something Brown is looking for. Caltech is very academic focused for sure. They're looking for students who really push themselves academically, go out of their comfort zone. And of course, they expect students to come to Caltech and fail as well, because they believe that's the only way they'll do well. Stanford, on the other hand, is known, of course, academics and all of that, diverse backgrounds, talents, all of that is important. But Stanford really appreciates students who have an entrepreneurial innovation and entrepreneurial kind of mindset, for example. So they're looking for students who, either through a community impact initiative or through an entrepreneurial initiative, if they've made a difference, then Stanford really likes selecting those kind of students. MIT, of course, in one of the slides, we had asked you how important is maybe taking Olympiads, and it's actually very important for a school like MIT. If you take part in science fairs like IRIS National Fair or INSEF, or in maker projects and challenges, innovation challenges, and if you do ace any of the Olympiads, the main Olympiads, and if you represent India at the international level in these Olympiads, then MIT really, really takes note of your application. But apart from, of course, loving science and math, they're looking for students who are willing to take initiative, risks, who display ability to, hands-on creativity and curiosity and intensity in their work. These are some of the skills that universities are now looking for in high school students, which students need to demonstrate through their academics as well as their co-curricular, extracurricular, and community impact initiatives. I just also wanted to touch upon the opportunities that are there in India itself now. because many of you, in that question that we asked you, where do you want to see your children go for higher education? Many of you in India was number one in that. So, of course, there are the typical IITs, NITs, triple ITs for which you'd write the JEE exam. But there are some amazing other institutions where you can get a fantastic education. And I'm talking about public and private both. So Indian Institute of Science, for example, offers 2 bachelor's degree programs. IISer is the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, and NISER is National Institute for Science, Education and Research. There are about 7 or 8 campuses of IISer where, again, students can do an integrated bachelor's come master's in science programs. NISER is, in fact, comes under the Baba Atomic Research Center and the Mumbai University for its curriculum development. So they again have integrated BS, MSc kind of programs, which is really great. IPMAT is an exam that you take at 5 or 6 now, I think, IIMs, which offers the integrated BBA, MBA program. It started with IIM Indore, and it's now offered also at Jammu, Ranchi, IIM Ranchi, IIM Jammu, I'm not sure if it's Rohtak, but there are about Amritsar, IIM Amritsar campus. All of them offer the BBA, MBA program. IIT Kanpur also has the humanities track where a student takes the JEE and studies economics, for example. IIT Chennai has also got the humanities and social science courses available. Delhi University has a very interesting center called the Cluster Innovation Center, which are very similar to the IISer and NISER kind of programs, integrated science programs. National Law School of India not only offering now a law program, but they're also going to start from the next year. They're going to offer liberal arts and science courses at the bachelor's level. Chennai Mathematical Institute, CMI, and the Indian Statistical Institute are 2 premier institutions in India for study of science and math and statistics. In fact, it is often said it is easier to get admission to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, or Stanford rather than getting admission to CMI because it's very, very competitive. Delhi School of Economics, Madras School of Economics, great, institutions for study of economics and certain social science subjects. IIM Bangalore, if you're not familiar, has started a BBA program from this year. They will be admitting students for bachelor's degree. They will also be offering liberal arts and science courses. Online also there is IIM Bangalore has the digital entrepreneurship BBA course. IIT Madras has the data science bachelor's degree. And BITS Pilani offers a bachelor's in computer science online with Coursera platform, in fact. Private institutions, there are all of these which are listed over here are some of the new age institutions that have come up in India and offering some brilliant kind of programs. For example, at Sai University in Chennai, you have a degree, undergraduate degree in cognitive neuroscience, for example. Mahindra, for example, has a BTech LLB program now. So very, very interesting. Plaksha has now become one of the top private engineering schools, offers only 4 bachelor's degrees. They have a very interesting BTech in business, finance, and data science, for example. So these are all some really amazing universities that have come up in India and that are offering amazing opportunities for, I think I've missed out mentioning Shulini is not listed here, but again, a very interesting university come up in Solan in Himachal Pradesh. And they have a 2+2 partnership with Melbourne University. So students can do 2 years in Shulini and 2 years at Melbourne. And they're very well known as, in fact, perhaps one of the first private universities to have the leading number of patents in the bioscience field. So wonderful universities. Flame was one of the first liberal arts and science college to be set up in India, has amazing programs on offer for high school students. And finally, I'll just share this slide, which is, these are the, many of you may have read in the newspapers or in the news about, the government of India giving permission to foreign universities to set up campus in India. So Deakin was the first one, and they've set it up in Gujarat at Gift City, Wollongong, University of Wollongong, and Deakin are in Gujarat. Southampton is Southampton is in Gurgaon. These are the first 3 universities which have already started offering programs. Southampton has started bachelor's degree as well. All the others that you see on the screen are now going to be offering from next year. They're going to be, the campuses are being set up this year from 2026 fall semester. They will all start offering bachelor's and master's degree programs. The only US university in this list is Illinois Institute of Technology, but the rest of them are, mostly from Australia and UK. In fact, in Bangalore, the University of Liverpool is going to set up its campus here in Bangalore. All the others are either in Mumbai or Gurgaon or Delhi, for example, or Noida. So that's really what is on offer for students in the future. There is a lot happening in India, and a lot of opportunities for our students.